Mr. Gao, don't you think so that somehow the American regime by then is equally responsible for nurturing these terrorists who are now having hands on their weapons, on their ammunition that they left behind while they were evacuating from Afghanistan? And now the same terrorist groups are using those modern gadgets against civilians and against Pakistan security officials. So don't you think so that the American administration by then is equally responsible?
Well, absolutely. After the Americans decided to run away from Afghanistan, abandoning huge amount of ammunition, military hardware and software, including very advanced military helicopters, guns of all kinds, missiles, tanks, armed personnel carriers, you name it. Afghanistan, as of today, is one of the countries with the most lethal military weapons you can imagine. And if they start to export or smuggle these weapons to other countries in this part of the world, including, for example, anti-air missiles, they can really create havoc because civil aviation may be very much suffering from the availability of these lethal weapons in the hands of wrong persons, and they may have no scruple in using these weapons for their own purposes. And it is absolutely important for all the 6 neighboring countries and the United Nations as a whole, together with the interested parties in other parts of the world, to work hectically with the government in Afghanistan to make sure that all these weapons currently in wild circulation inside Afghanistan should be collected and dealt with in a very effective way, rather than, for example, circulating in wild manners, which may be smuggled out of Afghanistan into other parts of the world, creating huge damage and loss of life in different parts of the world. This is truly a great tragedy of the United States not taking care of the situation when they decided to run away from Afghanistan.
Very true, very true. Professor Victor, just recently, the Afghan Deputy Prime Minister, he's on record, and he invited the businessmen from Kabul and ordered them to abandon trade with Pakistan. You know, we got a long border and we used to trade mutually, but he has ordered the businessmen to abandon this trade with Pakistan. Rather than to abandon the safe havens of the terrorists, he is advising their businessmen to abandon trade. Number one, will Afghanistan be able to survive without trade with Pakistan? Number two, why they are unable to act against the safe havens of the terrorists?
Well, based on my understanding of the history and the circumstances between Afghanistan and Pakistan, there should be no reason why Afghanistan wants to view Pakistan as an enemy. These two countries share a lot of things in common, geography as well as the tribal people along the mountains on both sides of their boundary. So we need to ask a question very clearly. Why the Afghanistan people view Pakistan in hostile manner? Who is behind them? Who has taught them the script or given them the talking points, for example? And I think if you go through the list, probably there is only one country on the top of the list which may view Pakistan in a hostile manner and may have any incentive to misuse the Afghan government and the situation in Afghanistan for its own geopolitical purposes. That is to be anti-Pakistan, anti-China, and creating all the havoc in order to create turbulence in Afghanistan or in China's Xinjiang province or autonomous region, so that they can easily benefit from such chaos.
And there could be only one country that is having those plans, Professor. There could be only one country that is having those plans that you are trying to talk about. To my understanding, that could be only India, whether someone like it or not.
Well, I do not want to name any name, but you know what I'm talking about. Exactly. And I think the rest of the world will know that if there is any country which has an agenda against Pakistan, there is one big country on the Asian subcontinent. And we all need to be fully aware of that and work together in the same direction to make sure that, first of all, Afghanistan is not misused by another country to serve the geopolitical purposes of that country rather than the fundamental interests of the Afghan people. And secondly, whichever country which wants to misuse the situation in Afghanistan need to be come out to the sunlight to really be fully exposed for their agendas. And we want to drive home the point that don't misuse the situation in Afghanistan. The people in Afghanistan has already suffered ever since 1979 by foreign invasion, foreign occupation, foreign maneuverings inside Afghanistan. And it is time to give the Afghan government and the Afghan people a break, a real break, so that they can calm down and focus on stability and development and peace, and to really emancipate all the potentials of Afghanistan as a country and make sure that Afghanistan can be transformed into a land of prosperity, equal opportunities for all in Afghanistan. And I also keep dreaming that all the kids in Afghanistan will be allowed to go to school, including wonderful girls in Afghanistan. They deserve to be educated in order to be qualified for the modernization of the world of today.
Professor, you are right. I mean, all those kids there in Afghanistan, they deserve to be there in the schools. They deserve to have education. They deserve to have the basic health facilities. But this will only be possible if there is peace. But I want to ask you another thing that I tried to raise before, and that is about the state of trade between Pakistan and Afghanistan. They are ordering their businessmen to abandon trade with Pakistan. Do you think that Afghan economy, Afghan government, Afghan people will be able to survive while abandoning trade with Pakistan?
Absolutely not. I understand the Pakistani-Afghan border is the longest for Afghanistan, and people on both sides of the border in Afghanistan and in Pakistan, they get connected very often. They are the same families, sometimes the same tribes. So they visit each other across the artificial boundary, and such exchanges among the people along the border and the thousands of years of historical connectivity between the Afghan people and the Pakistani people should not be artificially disrupted, because it's not good for people on either side of the border, and it is not good for the Afghan economic development. I think if I can offer one advice to the Afghan government, it is deal with everyone as your friends, and don't deal with anyone as your enemy. And you will always benefit if you have more friends. Then you may actually suffer the consequence if you want to turn other countries, especially your neighboring country, into your enemies. And then always focus on what really is good for your own people, the elderly people, the young people, the boys and the girls. And in the world of today, you need to give the best education to your kids. Send them to the best school, send them to education, so that they will have the expectation of prosper and thrive in the future, which will be making Afghanistan a strong nation, a prosperous nation, a wealthy nation, a nation qualified to stand proudly on their feet.
Exactly, they truly
in the world
deserve
of today.